people go for the training, the type of training they're having, and just kind of have an open conversation and discussion on whether it's personal training, whether it's individual training, whether it's personal physical training, whatever type of thing. What are people doing to broaden their knowledge and to grow their knowledge individually and for their teams? And with that, I'll shut up and let people start talking. And I know, Chris, I can let you kick it off. I know you have a lot of educational kind of things that you offer, so you might be a great person to start the conversation.
So I don't know how to really do that without pitching, but I can tell you that yesterday we had a great sales training class and Jeannie was there because we got to role play. So it was part 3 of a 3-part class on how to have a sales system. You know, what do you do if you have a one-to-one here and somebody gives you a referral? Do you know how to handle that situation? And you know, you have an hour meeting. We have a simulation that we do, and 60 seats on our bus simulating a 60-minute meeting. We break it down. Well, yesterday we role played based on the previous 2 trainings, and it was phenomenal. And Jeannie can attest to this, and I've never seen this before, but so we're role playing, right? We set people up. 2 of the 10 prospects turned into live buyers on the spot. It was amazing to see that and how it just flowed and was conversational and it was easy. But, you know, given the opportunity to practice stuff before going live is a real advantage and hard to do during Zoom. You know, what do you do? Practice with your dog, practice with your kids. I remember I used to line up my kids whenever I had a big talk coming up. It's just not the same, you know. But if you get an opportunity to, I guess, to practice things live before going live, do that. That would be the best advice I have. And sorry, you caught me a little off guard there.
No, I didn't mean to. Again, it's meant to be an open conversation, and that's it. I mean, I think with the availability to have video made so much cheaper and so much easier, and you know, videos doesn't. I mean, my kids, they want to know anything, just go to YouTube. They just look it up. I mean, as far as finding what you need to find, the information is out there. But now it's how do you know the information is quality and where are people going? So it's more about what are people using and how are people doing it at their companies or wherever, or are people just not and just winging it? And that's kind of the more of the conversation, the question, and try to get a flavor for. Now, Lisa, I think your group does a lot of it where they're training each other on the spot. And that's a big part of what you guys do, right, Lisa? Both Lisas, but I'll start with Lisa Dvorin.
Sorry. Yeah, no, we do a lot of actually just training with folks that are following the program too. You know, we do a lot of Facebook Lives and webpage support. So, and individual support wherever people need it.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. And Lisa, how have you found, I mean, as far as how your world has changed a lot when it comes to giving the structures of the formal classes versus pandemic and having to figure out how to do it. Can you kind of explain a little bit about where you were and where your business has progressed?
Me, Lisa?
Yes.
Lisa with heart? Okay.
Yes.
Well, what I've noticed and I've shared many times is that I used to have big groups of 12, 15 fitness instructors, Boy Scouts, anybody coming to me, new parents. And now going online, there's some intimacy to it. I go into people's living rooms. Think about that, right? They have a baby, the baby's sleeping. They come to me. I train them in CPR. So going into people's worlds quietly has been definitely different, more intimate in some ways. I've done corporate groups, corporate training, do team meetings like this. We're considered a team. I go in to a team Zoom and I, you know, train for 20 minutes, a half hour to an hour, and I just tell them what they need to know. So it's been a shift, and I'm just going with the shift because it doesn't look like things are ever going to be the same, nor should it. So I will adjust as it keeps coming at me, whether I, you know, choose to focus people coming into Zoom or if they want to come live into Morristown. So thanks for asking me about that, Dennis, because I know, you know, when I train people and they need the hands-on, they come in, you know, so.
Yeah, no, and I can't stress enough. My wife just continues to rave about you. She's telling the whole commission that does all the private schools in New Jersey.
Thank you. I've been starting to pick up really after this pandemic. I feel like people are on the other side finally ready. I'm going to mute before my dogs bark.
No problem. Great. And Paul, I know you did a piece on LinkedIn Learning. I mean, what other tools? You're always good with what's out there in the cracks and nooks of the internet.
Yeah, so this is perfect timing for two things. Number one, I personally did last week 5 days of training for me. Two of them were from a group that I belong to that helps. It's kind of like a coaching program for marketers like myself. So there was all kinds of training for sales training and getting your message out, et cetera, as well as how to do things, the operational piece. And then there was a 3-day Friday, Saturday, Sunday training that I attended of, there's a sales guy, some of you may have heard of him, called Grant Cardone. And he's a very interesting character. He's great at what he does. People either love him or hate him. And, you know, it was all about sales and scaling and doing some things. So I like to find different areas, different people, different perspectives when I'm attending the training to learn. And then I actually have a membership group where I'm teaching them and training them on how they can develop their website, how they can work on their marketing. And pre-pandemic, actually up through the middle, late summer, we would meet just once a month. And in late August, we started to meet weekly. So to bump it up and give people that extra hand. So that's kind of what I'm doing as far as training for me and training that I'm doing for others.
Excellent. Great. And then Randy, I'd be interested to see how's the bank still doing their training?
So I was just going to say, we used to go, you know, up to headquarters sometimes, like Buffalo, or they have places in Maryland, Delaware. Now it's all Zoom. M&T actually just bought a bank, and whenever they buy a bank and they transition, they have this buddy system. So they send a few people to each like new branch to help them kind of transition. And I think it's actually going to be done over like WebEx this time. So that'll be kind of interesting, but it'll be kind of cool because you can kind of always be there, jump in and out, and it makes, you know, life a little easier. But yeah, pretty much everything's done over WebEx or Zoom online is how we do most of our things now. And it's kind of funny. Like, I feel like I'm always training customers, right? So in this new digital world where, you know, a lot of our clientele seems to be older, you know, a lot of them have gotten the app, but they're like, I don't know how to use this thing. So we'll sit with them. We can even email like digital demos to show people. So you can actually, once you get to one demo, so if Dennis, you were like, hey, I can't set up my online banking, I don't know how to do it, I can't come in. So what I'll do is I will send you a digital demo, and then from there you can look up how to, I don't know, send money through Zelle, or you can do other things. And we even have, it's called like a money mentor program, and it's got a few different, you know, categories to it, and it's kind of made towards, you know, depending on the audience. So yeah, the bank's always doing different, you know, training for employees, for, you know, for customers, for prospects. It's pretty unique.
Awesome. And I know Candido and Chris, you could attest, I've got my CPA and my insurance license. So I literally have like 60 required hours a year of training. So I'm doing all kinds of, I'm constantly training. But if you guys want to talk about how you guys find your training, and Jake too, I'm sure you're doing it as well. So how do you guys do your training for the most part?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in, Dennis. I was going to volunteer as it was. Yeah, so correct. So in the financial services space, when you look at kind of that supply chain, you know, we have a lot of companies we work with. So much of it is obviously online, right? Learning, either reading, going to Zooms. What I found has been helpful are those certainly hosted seminars or webinars, and that's still via Zoom. But maybe in our industry, a little different is many times we have senior advisors, been in the business, you know, 20 years. And although the companies can tell us about strategies and ideas for households and businesses, a lot of times we get that, you know, that intel or that experience from a senior advisor. And that's more, you know, concepts and ideas, not so much the technical. But that would be from, you know, my world. And it's really a smattering of things and really what fits, you know, your sort of a focus. I'll turn over to Candido if that's, you know, you may have different ideas too.
You're unmuted, sir, but we can't hear you. Still can't hear you. The little X is gone, but we still can't hear you, sir.
Plug in your mic.
All right, we'll jump to Jake. Go ahead, Jake. If we hear you, we'll let you know.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, Jake.
Fantastic. So I had a few different, career paths that had different trainings associated with them. Most recently being with some Sandler training. I'm not sure if anyone's ever heard of Sandler, but it's, fairly popular, and it's a really good style in a way that helps you differentiate yourself from others by doing what everyone else isn't doing, essentially focusing on the customer, making sure that you're, asking the right questions, and being a real human being, and not being, just a salesperson, so identifying that this is an actual human being that you're speaking with, trying to connect with them on a personal level, and take it to a level where it's more comfortable and it's more friendly than just a business interaction. So kind of figuring out the psychology behind how people buy, and helping them get to the yes on their own rather than trying to force it upon them. So I've had really great experience with different sales programs so far, that one being the most impactful in my mind. I'm not sure, I saw a couple of heads shaking when I mentioned Sandler. Has anyone else had experience with them? Paul, yes?
Yeah.
Dennis, yes.
Yeah, great stuff. Great information they offer. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I haven't missed yet, when I try the things that they tell you to try, you always end up successful. So, groups like, or, trainings like that, I really find beneficial, in every facet of business.
Yeah, and if you want to get exposed to some of that Sandler training without having to really commit to the Sandler training, all the local Chamber of Commerce is hosting, they're the ones kind of hosting all their Zoom stuff. So I know Mercer, Somerset, Hunterdon, all of them, it's Sandler who took over this when the Chambers didn't know what to do when they went virtual. So